Hello dear students of class 7 and welcome to yet another online class of general knowledge. Dear children, today we are going to start the 10th lesson of your GK book, Famous Painters. Now dear children, art or paintings have been a medium of communication for people since olden time. Whenever people needed to express themselves in a creative way, whenever people needed to express their emotions or convey some message and they wanted to get creative about it, or maybe they wanted to keep it hidden, they took the help of art or painting. Art and painting is not only meant for decoration, it is meant for expression. It is meant to convey some message, sometimes a personal message, sometimes a social message, something which can create social awareness. In fact, today also, dear children, when we have to do some kind of rally like anti-drugs rally or HIV rally or anything, right? Not only do we move around, we create colorful banners, we create colorful paintings or arts or frescoes through which we convey the required message. And in the olden days also people did the same. Now art, as you know, is a skill. Not everybody can master it. So there have been some great artists, painters, sculptors in the human history who have created the finest examples of art, paintings, which are popular even today, even in the local times. Now, there are many of such artists and painters, but today we will be talking about some of the very famous painters, some of the very famous painters who were involved in painting, who were involved in painting. So, we will do it name the following style only. I will read the description, I'll explain the description to you, and accordingly we will write the answer on the board and we'll learn how to spell and pronounce them. So let's begin. Number 1, he was a famous Indian painter and filmmaker. His best known works include Sufi paintings, Sunehra Sansar, Gajgamini, and Sprinkling Horses. His films include Gajgamini and Meenakshi, The Tale of Three Cities. So this particular painter is of Indian origin. His work have been very famous. Some of his best works are Sufi paintings, Sunehra Sansar, Gaj Gamini, and Sprinkling Horses. Now, not only he has been a famous painter, he has been a very avid filmmaker also. And two of his very famous films are Gaj Gamini and Meenakshi, The Tale of Three Cities. So, as Indians, we should be proud that one of our own Indian origin painters is one of the world famous. So this particular painter, and he's very popular also, is M. F. Hussain. M. F. Hussain. So M. F. Hussain. Hussain. M. F. Hussain. Now accordingly, let's move on to number 2. He was an Italian Renaissance painter, sculptor and architect. He is famous for creating the fresco ceiling of the Sistine Chapel and sculptures that include Pieta and David. Now, this particular painter was not only a painter, he was a sculptor and an architect too. Mostly he is famous for his sculptures only. But one of the very famous paintings that he has done is the fresco ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. You see, in Vatican, Rome, there is a chapel called known as Sistine Chapel. The entire ceiling of the chapel is painted with the happenings, or you can say incidents, extracts taken from Bible, and that's one of his most famous painting. So this particular painter or sculptor and architect is Michelangelo. Michelangelo. So spelling is Michelangelo. Michelangelo. Okay, so he is a very famous Italian Renaissance painter, sculptor, architect, and he's famous for creating the fresco ceiling. Fresco ceiling, like I told you, means the ceiling which contains paintings with extracts taken from Bible. And this fresco painting is in the Sistine Chapel. Also, he has created very famous statues like that include Pieta and David. And in fact, children, when we come to Michelangelo, I would like to tell you something because it reminds me of a short incident. Dear children, these painters or artists, they are very particular about their work, and some of them, they don't like it when people who have no idea start pointing out what you call mistakes in their work, which they believe is not so. You see, what happened was, once Michelangelo was walking and he saw a great slab of stone. Some other artist long time back had started the work of statue of David on that stone, but he hadn't finished it. So Michelangelo, what he did, he took upon it as a challenge, upon himself as a challenge to finish the statue, and he worked day and night. Months passed, but at last, with all his hard work, he completed the statue of David. Now it was made out of a single large block of stone, so everyone was surprised. Single person walking all by himself, he had finished the great statue of David. So everyone gathered to see the statue on its unveiling. Now, among all the spectators, there was the mayor of the town. Now, this particular mayor had a habit of pointing out problems in everything. Michelangelo knew about it very well. So, when the mayor was asked, "Sir, please comment, how is the statue?" The mayor said, "Hey, the statue is good, but you see, his nose could be little bit chipped. His nose could be little bit sharper and it would be all nice." Now, obviously, the statue's nose was perfect enough, right? But when Michelangelo knew this, but Michelangelo also knew very well that if he goes and quarrels with the mayor, he will be in trouble. So what Michelangelo did was, Michelangelo said, "Okay, sir, as you wish." Michelangelo went to the statue. He bent down, picked up some stone dust from earlier chipping, right, without the mayor seeing it, quietly climbed up, acted as if he's chipping the nose, but actually he did not chip even a single bit. Instead, all that stone dust which was already in his hand, he let it fall. Then he came down and asked, "Sir Mayor, how is the nose now?" Then Mayor said, "You see, I told you if it would be chipped, it would look nice. Now the statue is perfect." But in fact, there was not a single bit of stone chipped from the nose of statue of David. So this is one of the very famous incidents from the life of Michelangelo. Now, moving on to the third Renaissance painter, very popular one. In fact, most of you know about him. How? You'll come to know. He was an Italian Renaissance painter, architect, inventor, engineer, and sculptor. So you see, basically, he was all-in-one. He was a genius. He was a genius. He was a Renaissance painter. He was an architect. He was an inventor. He was an engineer, and he was a sculptor. He is world famous for his masterpiece paintings such as The Last Supper and Mona Lisa. Now I think this one gives you the hint. This famous painter painted the famous Mona Lisa. And as you all know, there are many myths associated with the paintings of Mona Lisa. Some people say that it's the statue of his, it is the, sorry, not statue, it is the painting of his wife. Secondly, some people say it is the painting of his lover. Some people even believe that there is some mysticity or mysteriousness behind the smile that Mona Lisa gives. Yet Mona Lisa is one of the most sought after, preferred and loved paintings in the world. And the famous painter who painted it was Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, Leonardo, Leonardo, da Vinci, Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, and he has also painted a very famous painting known as The Last Supper. Dear children, Last Supper is actually an incident from the Bible itself. It is said that the Jews were very much offended by the teachings of Jesus and by the spread of Christianity. So they plotted against him, right? Plotted against him. And in order to rat him out, they took the help of one of Jesus's own disciple known as Judas. Now, somehow Judas believed that nobody knows, but somehow Jesus knew. So one day what happened was, just before Jesus was to be arrested, Jesus called for a great feast, and all his disciples were sitting in line with him on the dinner table, and they were having the dinner. Now all of a sudden, Jesus, while eating in the middle, Jesus suddenly said, "Today, among you 12 disciples, one will betray me. One will betray me." As soon as this was heard, there was great commotion, great confusion, and frustration among everybody. But Jesus was calm and silent. Jesus was calm and silent. On the basis of this particular setting only, the Last Supper was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Now let's move on with the fourth one. Fourth one, he was a Spanish painter. One of his most famous works is his depiction of German bombing at Guernica, Spain. Now he's a Spanish painter, and one of his very famous work is the drawing which shows the scene of Guernica. This is a place in Spain which was bombed by Germans during World War One. And this particular painting, this particular painter, is known as Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso. So you see, we have M.F. Hussain, we have Michelangelo, we have Leonardo da Vinci, and we have Pablo Picasso. Sorry, I forgot to give the spelling of Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo, Leonardo, da, Vinci, Vinci. And Pablo Picasso spelling would be Pablo, Pablo, Picasso, Picasso, Pablo Picasso. Now, dear children, there is an amazing fact here which I would really like to read it to you. Vincent van Gogh, a very famous painter, Vincent van Gogh constantly struggled with poverty and was able to sell one of his paintings during his lifetime for 400 francs. 400 francs. Francs is the currency of France. His most expensive portrait of Dr. Gachet was sold for 152 million in 1990. Now you see, Vincent van Gogh, all his life, when he lived, he struggled with poverty. One of his paintings, the expensive portrait of Dr. Gachet, in his lifetime when he was alive, it was sold for 400 francs only. That's, you can consider like 400 rupees or 500 rupees in our currency, rough calculation. But in 1990, long after his death, the same painting, when it was auctioned, it fetched $152 million. $152 million. This is the story of most of the artists and painters, dear children. During their lifetime, they don't get the recognition. It's only after their death that people recognize their contribution to the field of art and literature. Like in our India, you can talk about Munshi Premchand. He is also known as Upanyas Samrat, the king of novel writers in India. Okay, Munshi Premchand. During his lifetime, he constantly struggled from poverty only. In the end, he did not have money even to pay for his own medicines. And today, his handwritten scripts are worth crores of rupees. When if auctioned, they would fetch around crores of rupees. So this is one truth about our painters and artists. Now, dear children, there is this quiz time here where there are 3 paintings. You can see there is a quiz time here where there are 3 paintings. Here on itself, I'll give you the names. You can later on refer to the video and write it down. Okay. So for quiz time, number 1, you see this painting, person catching the ears. This painting is called The Scream. The Scream. T-H-E the S-C-R-E-A-M. Scream. Number 2. Painting number 2 is The Sleeping Gypsy. The Sleeping Gypsy. And number 3. This particular painting done by Vincent van Gogh itself, if you look at it very closely, dear children, I think you will recognize this painting. After giving you the name, I'll tell you where you might have seen it. This particular painting is called The Starry Night. The Starry Night. Children, you might have heard that recently one of a very famous film actor, Sushant Singh Rajput, he committed suicide, right? It was a hot news few days back. Now those who remember, the same painting, The Starry Night, was on his Instagram post. It was his last Instagram post. Sorry, it was his DP. It was his DP right before he died. The Starry Night. So dear children, as usual, you will note everything down in the notebook and prepare yourself for the upcoming tests. Thank you very much. Stay safe.